And welcome back. Episode 2 of Lawless Brothers Radio. My name is Casey Lawless.
I'm Ryan. We're back again.
We're back again, like we never left.
We're back in the lab, baby. First episode was fun, man. First episode was fun. How'd you feel?
Dude, yeah, I had a genuine blast. The support that I got from people who I haven't talked to in like years, and then of course like even like my best friends, like it was so cool.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things where, you know, you're already motivated to do something, but like getting like that kind of admiration like from your peers and like it just gives you another reason to like say like, yeah, we're doing the right thing.
Absolutely, especially because like no one knows who we are. So
apparently not.
What even better reason to kind of double down, keep the foot on the gas, and come back here for the second one, dude. I had a lot of fun, Case. It was a good time. It felt right. And here we go, baby. So today I think the first one was fun, but we were all over the place. Nerves were high for good reason, and we were just hopping everywhere, and it was great. It was great. It was a lot of fun. We have some things we can, we thought about, like what can improve this next look here. You'll see, more for stay tuned for some later clips and things like that. But I think this is a good time to kind of like dive deeper into, some of the stories that we kind of like briefly touched on in that last one and kind of hone in a little bit.
Yeah, especially like when we talked about like the craziness that was the SFO airport.
Yes.
Like when I made the flight to actually make my move out here. I think talking about like kind of the first like beginning steps of that is super important, especially the fucking like hilarious things that we had to do, but not only like get by, but to also like just both find our footing.
Yeah.
And just, like, figure out exactly, like, all right, like, we're here now, so, like, let's fucking, like, let's put, like, pedal to the metal.
Yeah,
so
baby.
it's definitely, that story in itself is a good one, and I think that's going to be a great subject for this episode.
It's all part of the journey, talk about how, who knows whenever we will, quote unquote, make it in this life, whatever that looks like, but how, like, the struggles, like, really are the part, and we have some funny things. So I think let's reel it back. It's March of 2025. I'm going to pull it back to... For me, I'll start. We'll give a little background on me because I was out here first. So I'll pull May of 2021. May of 2021, I decided, hey, I'm gonna YOLO, move out to California. Drove across the country, which pretty crazy and scary at the time. Now looking back, it's like I could just do it again, but it's at that time it was cool. That trip probably deserves its own episode in itself. But that is not for now. That is for another time. We're going to talk about how, really what I did was May of 2021, I literally, I had gotten a job in San Jose, in that area. I literally paid for 1 month of an Airbnb and just drove out there. And so I get out to Cupertino, California. I got to stay literally I was renting a room in this woman's house. Shout out Erin, for real. Who knows, whoever listened to this, but for real. Great person, great experience. Allowed me to keep, I drove out with, my desk and, my chair and things. So she allowed me to, keep stuff in her house for that time.
Crazy.
And I had no plan, really, on what that was going to be. There was 3 other people, living in that house that were, also. There's, this one girl who was there for, some sort of master's degree. She was pretty cool. There was 2 other guys who lived downstairs just in their own separate rooms. Super nice house. It was not weird at all, but it was weird to just throw yourself into it. And I was there for a couple months. She's it's all about who you know. And after the first month, she was like, hey, she's like, you can stay here as long as you need to. All is good. Just here's the monthly rent. I was like, all right. So once she hit me with the monthly rent, I was like, all right, maybe I need to, we need to figure it out, right? Because it was my first move out there. Super broke, super all those things. Right? You're literally, there's so much to pay for. I started working, and then my coworker at the time, he was like, hey, I have a spot open to move into. And this was from May until August, I was living in the Airbnb. And then August comes around. He's like, yo, we have a spot. Him and his other roommate, we have a spot in our house that is open until the end of the year. So from August till December, but they had plans after December for someone else to be there, which, respect and all is there. So I literally am living in the basement of this house. I get there, all is good. But similar to dude, I was sleeping on the ground for 3 weeks, probably legitimate. I had a gaming desk, my PC, a chair, and then like literally just my stuff scattered. I actually have a photo on my phone, which is pretty cool, of just like me sitting on the ground with like all of my stuff there. So like legitimate, just like crazy YOLO-esque situations. I got to live there from August until the end of December, which is when you come out.
Yep.
And you know, as all these things like continue just like happening for a reason, right? It was like, hey, like I need to get out. What am I gonna do? You decide that you're gonna come out. You know, Nico, shout out Nico, Marco, bro. Y'all were, it was a great time, man. I got to chill with a little puppy. We had some crazy. We were downtown San Jose. Actually, off tangent before you get started. One of the funniest things about living in downtown San Jose was
Oh, I know you're gonna.
You know, that's like the conceptualization of how like they're like, yo, Ryan, like listen, man, like you're white, you know, like be careful about walking around here, like there's some sketchy places, and I was like, they're like, yo, you're in the ghetto. I was like, the ghetto. I was like, everyone around here's got a front yard and like cars and shit. I was like, this is not the ghetto by any means. I was like there was no part of me walking around where I was like fearing for my life at all. So I thought it was just a funny, like, you know, coming from, you know, we lived in like the suburbs of Philly, but there are places that I've been to downtown where you're like, dude, you do not want to be here for X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, could you imagine any of those people telling you it's dangerous, like going on like a bar crawl in North Philly by Temple or something? Like they lose their mind. Like they have no like the conceptual like I can't speak. The concept of people living in California, especially like in those like affluent areas, like San Jose is like it's ranked as the most expensive place to live in the world.
Yes.
So the people that are living there who would say the same thing to me when I moved there, like, yo, be careful. Oh my God, you're going DTSJ. I'm like, yeah, bro. I think I'll be all right.
Be all right, man.
Like I've seen guys wrapped around light poles before walking out of a bar. You know what I mean? Like, dude, like trust me, it's a different experience.
You go to Kensington.
Yeah. So like
see some zombies. Zombieland.
It's literally nicknamed Zombieland. Like yeah. So
sad,
if you guys need to go to a good cheesesteak spot, maybe go to K&A and tell me. Make sure you get there after 2 a.m. and then tell me how it was after that.
Scary place.
Yeah, don't
Scary
do
place.
that.
Zombies
I'm just kidding.
Just zombies out. But yeah, hey, San Jose's all right, man. But just give you some background, right? And then we talked a little bit. I was like, dude, like letting you know, like, hey, like I can't take care of you when you get out here, right?
Yeah, and you know, and again, really quickly, like another thing too is I was already planning on moving in with my best friend Brendan. So the biggest thing is you weren't taking care of anybody. But what I'm saying, though, is him and I had plans to actually get a place in Richmond, Virginia.
That's right. Okay,
so
I forgot about that.
So him and I took a weekend trip down there. I really liked the area. He did, too. It was kind of like it was the way I even told him straight up. I was like, yo, listen, just so you know, if we're doing this is like my stepping stone to California. Like, this is like let me see what it's like to live alone. You know what I mean? In a different area, away from my family, see how I can get along, and then my end goal is to be in California. He's like, and his goal was like, yeah, like I'll just come with you. So like literally, we were gonna like kind of like take like a baby step. We're gonna move to Richmond. We found this really cool, or at least I did. I found this really cool apartment there. Pricing looked great. It's crazy when you look at like rent prices, like anywhere that's not California. Now that I think about it, and I was like ready to go. And then he at the last second was like, I can't do it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he basically is like, I just can't be that far away from my family.
When was that? Like
we're talking like October.
Okay.
So October, November.
Okay.
Because we took the trip in September. And then
I do remember this now.
We wanted to move in the beginning of November. And then once that fell through, that's when I was talking to you. And you even asked me about it. And then I remember one day you were like, listen, dude, like, I'm in the Bay Area, but San Jose is a lot closer to Los Angeles than Philadelphia is.
True, yeah.
And you said that verbatim.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck it, all right, let's do it. And then that kind of is going to lead into...
Yeah, man, but before we get... Why Richmond? What was... So,
the way that I saw it was I saw a gold... I was looking to become a personal trainer. There was a Gold's Gym that just opened. I don't know if it just opened or like it was recent, but it was like a newer location in Richmond, and it looked really nice. And like I applied to the job, and like I actually like was gonna get set up with an interview. So like my goal when I got down there was to be a personal trainer at Gold's Gym. Like,
Brendan have any connection to Richmond?
So no. Again, it was just one of those things where him and I were just looking at other
Just getting
states,
out. Okay.
and we
Okay.
dude, the fucking nature in Virginia is gorgeous, like
Yeah.
hiking and
But
stuff.
you've never
like,
been to
no, I've
Virginia
never
for-
been.
right,
No,
okay.
no connections, zero. It was just the way that we looked at it was like, for example, right, like California, Pennsylvania, it's like a 6-hour flight, 5-hour,
Yeah.
6-hour flight. Virginia, it's like a 6-hour drive.
Sure.
So to us, it was almost like it's not like we're living right down the street from our mom's house, but in case something happened, we can be there same day. So
Okay.
that's kind of how we looked at it.
Okay. Fair enough.
And it looked like that everything was going to kind of line up,
Yeah.
and then Brendan pulled out last second.
Yeah. Hey, pull out game
But
strong. There you
Yeah, but everything.
go. Or maybe not.
Moving on. Everything happens for a reason is what I was going to say before you said that. But yeah. All right.
Anyway, so
We're
you
getting off track.
You decide. So let's. All right. So a couple things, right? We can talk about before you even fly out there, right? So now he's like, "Yo, I'm ready to go." So I need to. I'm looking. He's not here in San Jose area.
Real.
So I need to look for apartments and do these things, right? As I'm like still living. Not only was I looking for myself and like what am I gonna do here moving forward, but so actually it was kind of perfect for you to come out at that time because like,
Right.
I mean it's all perfect. It all just continues to happen. But I don't know what I would have done. I don't know if I would have went back to like Airbnb or trying to find a spot or trying to get like a roommate or something. I'm not sure.
Dude, I think about it a lot. Like if for some reason, like not too much, but like I do think of like what if like when we applied for that apartment, like for whatever reason, like we didn't get accepted or
Yeah.
something, and then like would I have ended up in Philly still, like, or would I have moved to California still, but maybe by myself? Like,
Sure.
there's so many different like avenues that could have happened, but of course, and I tell this to anyone who's close to me, everything just happens to work out when you have the right intentions. So
Yeah,
Clear-
that's a good point. With the
you
right
know,
intentions.
with
is-
the
is
right
key.
intentions
Yeah.
is the biggest thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the reasons why I wanted to be out here, the reasons why you wanted to be out here were pure. You know
Sure.
what I mean? There was never like anything like, like malice about it or like
Yeah.
anything like that
Good
whatsoever. It was more like everything was like just positive. And I remember you actually had a bunch of doubts when it was getting close, like in December. Like
Yeah,
late
yeah.
December. You're like, Case, like I just like, dude, like this is cutting like way too close. Like I don't think we could. I have texts from you that you say I don't think we can do this, and I told you straight up, like, dude, this is going to happen.
Facts. Well, yeah, I'm also like sending you documents that I need you to like
Yeah.
fill out and sign and stuff.
No,
like
but this
that.
is even before that. Like
Okay,
this is like
okay.
while you're looking. Like it was like before we found the place on I'm not gonna say the street name, but
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
before we found the place we ended up going, you were like, yeah, like I just don't think it's gonna work.
Sure. Yeah.
But I reminded you to stay positive,
Oh, okay.
and here we are.
Wow, look at that. Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely started finding places, found a spot. But
Great
as
spot.
as you were still growing in your childness, yes, I literally, dude, because I need you. I went home for you to sign these papers.
I know.
All right. Yeah. So there's that.
But like
to it.
you were but this is before you came home. This is before everything. Maybe I'm
Fair.
thinking even like November then or December.
Yeah.
Like maybe right after I told you that the thing with Brendan fell through, we were still talking about it, and then you think you
Fair
didn't
enough.
think it was gonna happen.
Fair enough,
That's what
yeah.
I was referring to. And then as well, you were coming home anyway,
Yeah. It's for Christmas. During that
and then you
time.
just happened to stay hella long because of someone got sick.
Yeah, dude, COVID, man, it gets the best of it. It was getting everybody. It was getting everybody at that time, dude.
Yeah, right.
It's hey, it is what it is.
But anyway, not to get too off tangent.
So we find a place.
We do find a place,
And
and it was great.
it was great. We do get approved. The craziest thing is like, dude, listen, I'm really good at finding apartments and things like that. Dude, this place, I think it was 19, right? Was it 1,900 we're paying a month?
Yeah.
I think it was 1,900. So it was 1,900 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment in San Jose,
Which is actually
stupid.
that is so insane. I'm not gonna tell you that, guys, that this place was like the biggest place, but
Yeah, nice.
it was a really
Yeah.
good apartment. It was exactly what we needed,
Yeah.
and it was the exact amount of space that we needed.
There was some funny thing. Remember how like the heat and stuff didn't work?
Yes.
Dude, and actually funny off tangent thing about that. If you because we moved in January, right? Literally just
January
on the year.
6th.
So you'd be surprised. I lived in the East Coast for 25 years. I'm well aware of what snow and the cold is like. Dude, the Bay Area at night is a different kind of cold.
Fucking freezing.
And you would never expect it. I'm going to sound like a bitch, and I get it, but like it was crazy how like bone chilling cold it is. It's so different. And we had moved into an apartment that the heat just didn't work, actually. Like the whole central thing.
Did it work ever? Did we ever get it fixed?
I feel like people came out.
I want to say that did happen. But at the same time, like, what Ryan is saying, like, it might sound bitch made, but, like, it's so fucking real. First of all, for the first 2 weeks of me living in California, my body was still in East Coast time. So it did not matter what time I went to bed. I was waking up naturally at 4 in the morning every day, fucking freezing. It was, like, the most, like, because, you know, dude, like, real quick, but, like, I made a joke about this in the first episode, but, like, one of my best friends, Abby, she literally, I was packing a bunch of hoodies, and she was like, Case, you're moving to California. It's not like it's going to be cold. Dude, I remember I would think of that bitch every morning, and I was like, it's fucking cold, Abby. But,
yeah, son, how about that?
But, yeah, love you, Abby. But yeah, dude, so it was definitely that first, maybe we didn't. I don't know if we got it fixed. I really don't know. But
I don't know. We weren't there for that long.
Which
is its own story in itself.
Well, that's
kind of where we're at.
Well, that's why we're here.
So you know, like the crazy thing is so I pick you up from the airport. We get the stuff into the apartment, and I don't remember the days of the week because I was actually like in that like internship at that time. I was just about to start it, I think.
Yeah.
And we're at Target, literally trying to buy like household supplies. Right. This is like the first week we're in this apartment.
Yes.
And we're walking around Target, and I get a phone call from an Oakland phone number.
I'll never forget this.
Dude, it's so weird. You know what's before, as I preface this too, like I feel like this happens sometimes where like I've noticed it so many times where something like really, really good happens, and then there's always like this little thing. There's this little thorn that like kind of makes it like it just doesn't feel right after that. So
it's always something.
So we're in Target walking around like buying household supplies, and get a call from this Oakland phone number, and I'm like, I don't have any Oakland contacts, so I'm like, I probably should answer this, right? And then this guy's like, hey man, hey, is this Ryan? I was like, yeah, what's going on? He's like, hey, my name is Ted. You know, I'm the son of the owners of the apartment building that you are renting out. And I'm like,
sick.
Okay, cool. Like, why? What the fuck? Why are you calling me
what
right
are you
now?
doing?
He's like, yeah. So I assume you guys all got moved in and everything. You have the keys and everything like that. And keyword right there, keyword literally keys. I'm like, yeah. Like we're all good. I think it was like a couple, like maybe 2 days max before like we're in there. He's like, I was like, yeah, we got the keys. Like it's all good, you know, because when you're renting an apartment too, we went through a property management plan.
Yes.
I didn't talk to the owners of this apartment building or anything like
No.
that. We're not thinking anything of it. So I'm like, yeah, like it's all good. And he's like, hey, well, you know, hey, you know, is it cool if you guys move out? And I'm like, what? I was like, what? No. He's like,
dude, was this on speaker at the time too?
I don't think so. I know that like you were shopping, and when I answered the phone, I kind of like my whole mind shifted, so I wasn't talking to you for a second. Dude, maybe you have a better like insight on that.
Well, I just remember that right when you answered, and like it was like after you said the keys. I don't know if you turned the volume up or like whatever, or maybe you were just on speaker. But I remember hearing him out loud ask you, "Oh, like, so you think you can move out?" And I think I dropped whatever I was holding. Yeah. I'm like, what? Like, I think I was like, I had like a fucking like a bundle of like fucking like kitchen utensils or something. And I was like, bro, wait, what, dude? Keep going. But this shit is like the craziest thing of all time.
So you think about like how we just like went through all this stuff. We got a proof of this thing. We're like, boom, it's good to go. And then this guy's calling me, asking me this question. I was like, dude, like, no, like we, you know, like, well, like what do you? For one, moving sucks. For one, this dude just flew all his stuff across the country.
Oh my God.
I've been moving stuff in. My friend just helped me move into this apartment before he got there, like a couple days or the day or whatever. And I'm like, no. Like he's like, oh, okay, well, He's like, yeah, well, the property management team wasn't supposed to rent that. They weren't supposed to rent that apartment out yet, and we're gonna be losing a lot of money. So like, it'd be cool if you guys move out. And I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck off, dude.
Yeah,
like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, like, we don't give a shit. We signed every document. We signed everything. We didn't even know you existed until 5 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think this is?
And then I believe he's like, well, what if I offered you some money?
Money, yeah.
And I was like, dude. And the other thing that's crazy too is like, obviously it's legit, but I'm like, this is so weird. Like, why is this random ass human calling me, asking me these questions?
And
right?
bro, we just like, this might have been the third or fourth day I was there.
Yeah.
Like, vibes so high. We're figuring out everything. We don't have much, but we're about to get stuff. We're talking about future plans. We're talking about like how we're gonna do our room. Like, you and I are literally like, yo, we should buy this. Like, everything is so good. And now some random fucking dude blindsides us, and it's just like, yeah. So like, you want to, like, not live there anymore after everything that him and I, especially him, since May of 2021 to even get out there. For me, I've been here for I feel like I've been here for a cup of coffee, and I'm already getting asked to leave. Like, it was just such a weird, mind-blowing scenario, but it does eventually turn out.
Yeah, it's
okay in the end.
So I'm like, dude, so in my head, he's like, what if he's like, how much? And in my head, I'm like, bro, I don't even know. There's so many factors. So I think I was like, yeah, I'll give you a call back. Like, I think we ended the call right there. Then so now we're just sitting in the middle of Target. And I'm like, okay, so like, this is like an interesting, like, this is a weird problem. I was like, in my head, I'm like, hey man, if this dude offers us like 10 grand or something, like,
I remember
maybe,
that being the number.
You know what I mean? But there's also like, we got to prove for it. Like, who knows? We're gonna find another place. This isn't a spot where, and I did tell him this. I think I told him this. Nah, maybe I didn't. Who the fuck cares? But I was like, it's not like mom. Like you just said about Virginia and Richmond. It's not like mom's house is down the street, dude. Like, I can't just be like, oh yeah, sure, cool, we'll move out, and I'm just gonna go back home until we find a place. Like, dude, there's no really alternative right now. Like, this is the thing. And I believe, you know, it's funny. He's like saying like, yeah, the property management team shouldn't rent it out to you. I'm like, sounds like y'all have an issue.
Yeah, like,
that's crazy.
He said it like it was your fault.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean?
Oh, we're losing a lot of money. You are a landlord that owns probably multiple properties. Also, too, the internet's undefeated. I looked this dude up instantly. Like, what are you talking about? Found him. It's like, this dude owns a bunch of properties.
Yeah,
like,
fuck Ted Wong.
Like, fuck off, right? So, and so he comes back with an offer, and it was $3,000.
Yes.
So it was $3,000, and I was like, dude.
No
fucking way, bro.
Like, what do you think this is?
There's no shot in hell, and not like, again, like, not only moving, getting reapproved, doing this whole thing, and plus we also straight up like the place. Like, it was a good location, good apartment. There's a funny thing too. Remember how it didn't really exist, like, addressly?
Yeah, dude. So like, when you would. Again, I'm not gonna.
We weren't getting mail.
Yeah, we weren't getting mail and we were trying to figure out why. Like, there was like a bunch of accounts that I had online, and I would try to switch my address to it, and it would say like, okay, like, save successfully, and then I was just not getting anything.
Yeah.
So then we decided to Google it, and there was 2 addresses that existed for the same place.
Yeah.
So like, one of the cities, it said San Jose, and then the other one said Campbell.
Yeah.
But it was the same address.
Same address.
So it was almost like we were living in the fucking Twilight Zone. Yeah. Like, it was like we found like a
simulation
fucking,
apartment,
like a fragmented part of reality that we stepped into, and Ted Wong was telling us like, hey, that's not supposed to exist. Yeah. So you're not supposed to be there in the first place.
We were supposed to put that address on there.
So,
dude, which caused me actually complications with the police later because I couldn't get my license. It didn't exist. I went and got, like, you know, I went through, like, get the temporary license or whatever the case is, but the mail never came. And then I literally had to go back. I mean, that's an off story too, but basically I got pulled over, and it was like the last day of, like, my temporary license. And I was like, listen, man, I remember showing the cop, like, our apartment lease. I'm like, look, this is the address that's on there. This address doesn't exist, and they, like, had to decline it, so I had to go all the way back to the DMV and do all that fun stuff. I felt like I got hazed so many times when I was in California, like, straight up, like, moving. You pay the social tax of, like, going through the DMV and doing all this nonsense, and now we're, like, in an apartment. The address doesn't even exist.
Yeah.
Blah 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 blah. So we're like, fuck this dude, right? So, you know, fuck it. We're in the apartment. We're living there. Why don't you talk about, like, now that we're here, paid it off. You know, this guy's not in our head really too much anymore. We decided, like, hey, we're gonna stay here, and, like, that is what it is. I I think like a good, and we got laundromat stories.
Oh my god. I mean, dude, like there's so many things that like we had to figure out. I mean, my favorite like stories probably or like memories are just how hilariously cheap we had to be.
Yeah.
Like just like both of us like putting so much money into finally like getting to somewhere, and now we're here. And then it's kind of weird, but like I'm sure like a bunch of you can relate to this, but like when you move somewhere and maybe you don't feel as prepared as you should, but like finances for a second, like it kind of takes a second to like catch back up to like where you should be. And like dude, like we were downloading like the fucking Safeway app and like getting offers for like free tortillas or like 10-cent loaves of bread,
literally
like free like ketchup, like dude, like legitimately like, oh well, like this meat is discounted but this one like dude, like there were so many digital like so many things. And then again too, this apartment was advertised that it had like a shared laundry space, so there was like so there was a building downstairs and it had, you know, like a washer and a dryer or whatever. And it just didn't fucking work.
Yeah, it didn't work.
Like, I remember you threw your blanket in there and put a bunch of detergent on it, and then it just didn't wash.
That's actually right. Damn, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Which is why we had to go to the laundromat in the first place.
Which, and you know, too, we were like, I remember driving, and we were like talking about, like, we were like, dude, we will be talking about this. Unironically, here we are now. 4 years later. Nah, 3 years later.
3 years later.
3 years later, but like not even didn't think about it in this facet, right? You know,
no.
But how we literally like were doing that, going to the laundromat, going to Safeway to get like the, you know, and literally going like you said, going through the app. Had some fun memories too of like, remember that girl at Starbucks?
Oh my god,
who
dude!
Was the NPC that came up to us while we were waiting for our laundry,
bro. A literal, bless her heart, wherever she is, but.
I don't even remember what she looked like.
I have no idea. But it was like a homeless NPC walked up, like straight out of GTA, walked up to us in like a Starbucks while we're waiting for our clothes. Also, by the way, again, you guys are, you know, not people who are from Pennsylvania are going to relate to this, but and maybe other states too. But this was very new to me. We're going to the laundromat. We put our clothes in. And Ryan's like, yeah, you want to grab some coffee? It's right there. So, yeah. So we walk outside. And as I'm walking outside, there is a Rite Aid. And it's a pharmacy, as you know. A pharmacy. And I see a dude walk out with a 30 rack of Coors Light out of a Rite Aid. Yeah. In Pennsylvania, apparently we're the weird ones.
Pennsylvania is the weird one, yeah.
Where only like certain grocery stores and like liquor stores can sell alcohol. So like we weren't finding alcohol at a Wawa or like at a 7-Eleven or like something like that. So to watch this dude walk outside with a 30 rack of Coors Light and me have to check my eyes to look up and see that it says Rite Aid, I'm like, what the fuck just happened?
I'm at a Target with a bottle of Hennessy, you know?
Dude, and then we walk into the Starbucks and this girl, like this homeless woman, approaches us and
maybe she wasn't homeless.
Or maybe she was. She talked like kind of fast. She kind of talked like a pirate. Like she was like skeevy kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, she kind of looked like a pirate.
It looked like she had scurvy, maybe, I'm not sure. But what's it called? I forget like even like what she said to us, but it was something along the lines of like just telling us that like
she's like, "Oh, are you guys brothers?"
Yeah,
wow,
yeah.
Da, da, da.
And then
like, you are so handsome. I was like, "Girl, I got 15 cents in my bank account right now," and
she had no idea.
And we're just here doing laundry.
Oh my god! At one point, she was like, "Yeah, you guys look like actors. You guys are so handsome." And I just remember like thinking about everything that I don't have, and this person has no idea who I am, and they're probably just looking at me and assuming I'm rich. And
fun fact
so
about
funny.
Starbucks, dude. So before you got out here, like this is some first world broke shit that I was doing. I did this multiple times. And
I remember.
Do you know what I'm about to say right now? Dude, so this is, I mean, hey, it is what it is. You know?
It is what it is, what it isn't.
You learn how to use this phone and finesse money and things like that. Dude, there was times where, like, I literally didn't have money for food. There was times, this is sad. And I did this to myself, for the record. I chose to live out here. This is everything I did to myself, but I'm just explaining it. Dude, I would like call out of work sometimes if I didn't have gas in my car. I'm like, I'm gonna get paid 8 hours to not go work because I literally couldn't have a big ass. But the other broke shit I did was on the Starbucks app, you could use PayPal. So I was like, I knew I would count the days. I'm like, all right, cool. If I need to eat food today, and I probably should eat food at some point today. So I was like, I would add money through PayPal into the Starbucks app, which wasn't taken out of my bank account yet. Then I would eat or whatever, and then it wouldn't go until the day after that. And then the day after that, the overdraft thing would kick in, and then the day after that, I would get paid and it would all be good. So I was definitely finessing the shit out of the Starbucks system to eat food. Sometimes.
Yeah, bro. There's fucking turkey pestos.
That's the one.
They fucking
turkey pesto.
They fucking smack
Turkey pesto and
dude.
Some caffeine.
I mean, yeah, like I said when I moved out here, right? Again, we're talking about going to Safeway, going to laundromats, and again, we're talking. And by the way, we're very aware. These are decisions not only that we made ourselves, these are also very first world problems, and we're aware of that.
Yeah,
but
100%.
What can be inspirational about it, though, is the fact that you can get yourself to such a low point to where you can be eventually where you want to be, as long as you just work hard and you have the right intentions.
And sometimes it's the only way to learn too.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's what I'm about to say right now. So I sold my car, sold all my stocks, basically sold my crypto, sold everything. I had basically no money, dude. I was taking the bus to go to 24 to
you had to
go.
figure that out too.
So I had to figure out how I was even going to get there. And then not only that, but I would put money into my Clipper card to go onto the bus.
Yeah.
And I remember I came with this my mom gave it to me, and she gave one to both of us, that little chest with the little.
Yeah.
So
I still have it.
So my mom, she had a bunch of change, and she was like, "Oh, could you just keep this in here for me?" And she was like, "Yeah, it could just be yours." And I was like, oh, "Okay." So I had a bunch of just I'm talking a shit ton of change. And there was one time where I had no money in my bank account, and I think it costed $1.50 to go onto this bus, and I had to fucking bring 5 quarters.
Yeah.
And and then dude, there was one time where I had like 4 nickels and fucking 10 dimes. Dude,
Legit,
and
yeah.
there's people waiting by, and I'm fucking putting these, bro, because I had I had nothing. I had no fucking money. I had nothing. And then and I was like, well, I don't have money for an Uber home, so I would literally have to fucking I'd get at the gym at 8 in the morning, and then I'd work out either before my shift or after. And then I would work my shift, and then I'd be at the gym 10, 12 hours a day. And then I'd have to catch the last bus at I'd have to walk a mile just to get to where the bus is.
Yeah.
And then hope I have money. And then there would be times where the bus just didn't come. And I'd have to walk over an hour to get home. And there were so many times where in those days and nights where you're fuck, is this worth it? Genuinely, I was dude, I was I literally have negative money in my bank account. I have no friends. I have just you out here.
Yeah.
This is not what I thought this was going to be. I'm wow, I am so fucked. But something just kept telling me. I was all of this is going to be good.
Sure.
All the bullshit I'm doing right now, everything is going to work out. And yeah, dude, it was just such a wild ride in the beginning, of just legit having to figure out a way to finagle money or finagle certain different things, whatever you can do, whether it be getting right, even when you said calling out of work because you don't have gas in your car because it would legit call that, just a lot of stuff that we had to do to figure this out is crazy.
Yeah, and it's not. I'm not even upset about it either.
No,
I literally think that it was all not even well worth it. And I've had a lot of help from people for different reasons too, which that'll definitely come up in later things too. But yeah, dude, it's just crazy stuff, man. The whole fuck Ted Wong situation. We actually thought about when we were there at the time. Maybe we will get it made now, but we literally thought about we were saying Bing Bong, fuck Ted Wong. Maybe get that a little sign or something.
A neon sign
neon
right
signs
here.
with Bing Bong, fuck
Good.
Ted Wong. Maybe a little one. It'll be an accessory. Maybe
yeah,
not the main
I'm not
one.
trying to take over the whole wall.
Not the main one, but it was funny. And then let's unlock that thing for a sec.
Yeah, absolutely.
Unlock that. It's all good. Don't matter. Wait for it. Yeah. So then we talk about this. So we're in the apartment for a few months, and they were still fun too, dude. Actually, I'm excited with this. One of the most like embarrassing moments of my entire life was actually during us living there. Super Bowl. Hey,
You want to talk about it?
Sure, I will talk about it, dude. I won't name names, but like truly to this day, like definitely like straight up most embarrassing thing ever in my life. Still feel bad. Super weird in so many regards, but dude, Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I was on cloud nine. I made actually all fantasy football.
Mm-hmm.
Made a bunch of I'd won this thing for this like playoff thing, and me and Casey were hanging out with some friends.
Yep.
And after the Super Bowl,
mm-hmm.
we go back to their house. All good, nothing, anything like no weird things or anything like that. We'd eaten a bunch of food and I'd gotten so drunk, and part of my problem with like that kind of stuff, I just don't know when I don't partake a lot, but if I do start, I kind of really don't know how to stop, and that's probably some inner alcoholism gene wise somewhere down the road. But dude, I literally passed out on this person's bed and just asleep and wake up.
Wait.
Talk.
Hold up. I know we're about to leave them on a cliffhanger.
Shoot.
Let me say this from my perspective.
Run it.
Please.
Because
I feel like there's a lot of details you're leaving out as well.
I'm just going through it.
And
Please do.
and I get it. I know it's embarrassing, but just hear me out. So, again, I know we were just I was just bitching that like I first moved to California, thought it was gonna be like warm. My friends thought it was gonna be cold as shit. It's beginning of February, as when the Super Bowl is. It was Bengals Rams, and it was 85 degrees outside in February. And I'm like, for some reason that was like the moment it clicked. Like I live in California because it's 85 degrees outside in February. It was gorgeous. It was a beautiful day. We went to this one restaurant that we go to all the time, and we met up with some of Ryan's friends, and everything was all good. But here's the weirdest thing, at least it was for me. I grew up my whole life. Super Bowl starts at 6:30, or whenever kickoff is. I think it's 6:30. It started here at 3:30. So we stayed there at this restaurant for the first half and ate good food, but I was drinking.
Yeah. Same.
I was moving liquids.
Yeah, that's a good point.
In and out.
That's a good point.
We get back to their house and I'm already feeling a little wishy-washy. You know what I mean? I'm up in the clouds.
Turn.
As the children say.
As cool kids say.
And the game ends, and we've only drank more. Like, we played drinking games.
Yeah.
We ate a shit ton of chips and stuff. They didn't really have real food, but they had a bunch of like snack food and stuff.
Yeah.
And we finished between the four of us 2 bottles of tequila alone, and that was
the Rocks tequila.
Yes, it was Terramana. Shout out the final boss. But so not only were we kind of drunk going into this house, we only continued to drink more.
Yeah.
And I was getting pretty fucked up, and I can handle my alcohol, no problem. But, I've known this kid for a long time, and I know that he can't. And we'll get to one of my favorite stories. I wish I was there that night at the bar when you fucking threw up on that chick at Union Tap or whatever you were.
Yeah, that had nothing to do with alcohol, bro. That had to do with smoking a cigar.
Right.
I mean, I'll tell you, that's a different story for
okay,
time.
No.
But that actually is that day I barely drank anything. I literally drank a Corona, and I was like, what is going on right now? Something's not right.
Oh, because you inhaled the cigar.
Dude, I didn't
I remember.
smoke a cigar.
Okay. Anyway, long story short, I just, it's getting towards the end of the night, and funny enough, one of their friends, literally is like, yo, you can have, your own, room. So I'm like, oh, shit, nice. So I go to sleep, and I end up waking up in the middle of the night. And
dude, I passed out on this bed, didn't do anything, literally fell asleep.
Yep.
And, this never happened to me before. I've definitely gotten sick from drinking before. I, was woken up by myself throwing up.
Yes.
Awfully. It was scary as shit, for one. And, dude, I'm in, dude, fucking
unfamiliar
awful,
territory.
Listen, shout out you for being a saint and handling that if you ever do listen to this, because, to this day, definitely the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to me, in that moment. and yeah, but like that was just crazy. I'm just thinking of like things that happened like while we were in that apartment, and like that was one of them. And I was like, dude, this is awful. This is awful. Like, you know, so like there's some
Well, yeah, I was just gonna say like just like to get like woken up and to find that out.
Yeah.
Like it's like I forget what time it was. It might have been like 1 or 2.
I don't even think it was that late because like you
Or
said
maybe-
because it was
oh,
that,
wait, maybe
because
it
it was
wasn't-
that early that we were there or like that the Super Bowl started. Like, dude, it could have been like 10 o'clock.
No,
like, you know what I
you're
mean?
you're 100% right because the Super Bowl would have been over by like 9 or whatever. Or no, not even. It would have been like 6.
Yeah.
Which is our point, and we were drinking and eating like it was super late at night. So you're right, it could have been even earlier than that. I just remember I was going to bed, and I was like really fucked up, and I was like, all right, I just need to sleep this off. And then getting woken up to the news that you threw up all over their bed, I was just like, fuck.
Dude.
I didn't even know what to say, and they were just like, yeah, like I just wanted to tell you, like, don't worry, like I'll clean. I'm like,
Crazy.
great. I'm like, bro, this is a wild ass night.
Yeah.
But yeah,
absolutely
so
tragic. And because we were only there for a couple months, dude. There was some like, you know, that's an off story. There's some cool stuff, bro. We watched remember watching that show, dude. So like it was cold.
oh, archive.
Dude, we're jumping all over the place. Honestly, I jumped the gun on that. Like you, we didn't even talk about like living in the place, man. Like you were air mattressed up slash not slash all before air mattress, pre air mattress.
Yeah, pre-air mattress. I was sleeping on the floor. Like, and honestly, shout out that carpet. Great carpet. Great carpeting in that room. And honestly, dude, like, you know, of course, you can imagine like when you see those like memes and stuff of like guy's apartment, and it's just like a lawn chair in front of a TV with red zone. I wish that was inaccurate. That's kind of, if anything, we had less than that, and
Facts.
by less, we had nothing. The most amount of furniture that we had that was not in our bedrooms was in the living room. We had a little like coffee table shelf thing, not a coffee table, like a nightstand.
Did we?
Yeah, and I have it. It's in my bedroom right now.
Really?
Yeah, you told me to take it.
Oh, one of the okay.
Yes.
Okay. I brought those with me. Okay.
Yes, but anyway, long story short, like, but for what we had and what it needed to be, like, it was perfect. And then, you know, I eventually did end up splurging on an air mattress.
Check that out, dude.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was moving up in the world.
I did have a bed at this point, which I still have, which I bought when I was in like in downtown San Jose, like for that. But dude, yeah, that show Archive 81, bro. We had some good moments of us like literally just cuddled up all cute and shit, just watching Netflix on my PC because it was cold as fuck. And good
Great
show, by the way. Archive 81, weird good show.
Weird good show.
Yeah.
I'm like a big I'm like a massive like horror movie fan and stuff, and I wouldn't say it's like horror, but it's definitely like a thriller.
Yeah.
And I think it's a Netflix original.
Dude,
I think it is, but it was really
made
good.
by the Insidious. I'm like 97% confident it's made by the Insidious director.
James Wan?
Look it up, man. Where's your phone? Look it up right now.
I'll look it up right now. That'd be crazy. I did not know that.
I'm pretty confident because it has those vibes. It does have those vibes.
Archive 81 director. We gotta find this out right now. We don't play it right now. Yeah, totally not. Rebecca Thomas.
There's some connection.
You trying to make a claim that there's some connection?
There's definitely some connection.
Yeah, the production company's not the same. It actually was directed in Pittsburgh. That's pretty cool.
So I just completely made that up.
Yeah, Ryan has a knack of doing that. Oh, he was the producer.
All right.
Wait.
Sure.
I just saw his name. All right, good for you. Yeah, he was an executive producer, so he had a role.
All right, cool.
He had a role.
I wasn't that crazy.
He wasn't too off.
But
anyway, if you haven't watched it, great show. We're giving you free publicity right now on Netflix, so I'll be checking my email tonight. So thank you.
Yeah, man. So we're only there, and then we moved out actually in April. And the reason why is so friend Kyle, who is still in San Jose.
Shout out.
We were actually playing Halo. I was playing Halo Infinite.
Yes.
Just chilling one night. That was probably in February, if I had to assume the timing of it.
Late February.
And you know, we're literally talking to him, like, you know, dude, like my best friend for like a very long time, and we're in Discord playing Halo, talking about like, you know, like what our experiences out here thus far and like how it's good. And he's kind of was like, he's like, dude, like I want to go out there, but also like there's just not much left for me in Pennsylvania. And I was like, all right, fuck yeah, let's see what we can do, right? And I kind of still had this like idea of the whole like Ted Wong thing in the back of my head of like this might be a way to like, you know, who knows what'll happen, and like, dude, you know, my friend will come out here, this will be a great thing, you know, like not only like it'll just be cool, but also like being able to like really help, you know what I mean? Like you're like, dude, I'm kind of fucking done with Pennsylvania, because you know, I think it's good for you to want to move, period, wherever you're from, right? You know, and I learned that too. Like a lot of the actually shout out Nico, like we would talk about like him and dude Marco who in there, they would talk about how like they wanted to move to New York, which I thought was like really funny. Like a lot of people, like when I came out here, like had this like people talk to me all the time about like, oh dude, I really want to go to the East Coast and like do that whole thing. And I'm like, it's just funny, man. I think people like have this natural like inclination to like want to go from where they're not.
Absolutely. It's like it's the grass is always greener thing, you know what I mean? Like just like thinking like oh like and I think, not to like quickly cut you off, but like I will say that the grass is greener thing is crazy, because like, yes, do I like feel absolutely happier every day living in California? Absolutely. But what I will say is it's not because of my surroundings, it's because it allowed me to find like what truly makes me happy. Yeah. And I think that no matter where you are, as long as you're happy and you feel secure in yourself, you can thrive anywhere.
Yeah, you learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah, and you learn a lot about yourself when you're able to move away, like from, you know, familiar territory, your parents, like everything that you're comfortable with, like being uncomfortable on purpose. But at the same time, like, yeah, I like everybody who I've met out here at some point in time is like, oh my God, I got to get to New York. Oh my God, like I want to go to Boston. I want to go to, like, even like I met people who say like, yeah, like I want to go to Philly to try the food and stuff. And like, it's funny for us to hear stuff like that, because it's like, trust me, you're not missing much. But at the same time, for them, they've lived here their entire life. Now, I will say, now that I do live in Southern California, I do not hear that as much, because people who are from Southern California like love Southern California, and they don't want to live, and they don't want to really move anywhere.
I think you can hate wherever you're at if you don't like you just said, like if you don't like what's going on, you can find a way to hate whatever.
Yes.
But it's a funny thing too, like dude, living in like Philadelphia area for that long, like I didn't go to New York that much.
Yeah, I went to New York like twice, 3 times.
Sure. And it's in the same way of like you can kind of compare like LA and San Diego versus like New York and Philadelphia, right? It's like I don't really have any reason to go to LA, to be honest with you. I mean, I know you want to be there for like production and shit like that, which makes sense. But it's like those comparisons I think are like almost perfect. And a lot of people from where we were do gravitate towards San Diego.
They definitely do.
And that's why there's so many Philly bars there. That's why there's so many Philly fans there.
Like Eagles flags everywhere you go in San Diego. That was really shocking to me. I remember the first time you and I went to San Diego, like when we went on like that kind of like mini vacation, like PB, like Pacific Beach and Mission Beach with Jake and all them. And like we would just walk down the streets of Pacific Beach and see a bar and there's a fucking Eagles flag. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like it is kind of crazy that like a lot of people from where we're from maybe had like that similar mindset.
I was using that vacation as a for fun,
scouting.
For sure. But yeah, I was doing a scouting report on and I was like, oh, dude, 100% instantly. The back to the apartment though. So we're in there, and then so you know my friend Kyle's like, hey, like I want to come out. I'm like, all right, cool. We can maybe make some shit happen. So Ted Wong, man, back to my man Ted Wong. I was like, all right, we need to find, we're not going to stay in this 2-bedroom apartment, right? So we have to find like another place. And so I actually texted him. I was like, hey, Ted. And I was like, me and Casey, after further discussion,
careful consideration,
have decided to maybe take you up on your offer. And he's like, okay, well, I think the text, I could probably pull it up, but I think the text was like, all right, we're not going to give you 3. I forget what it was. I don't know if it was 222 or 23 or whatever. He basically, I'm assuming there was like some math algorithm of like, okay, this is how much we were expecting per month for the get, and then they're just gonna like offer you the difference if it was like a 12-year lease or whatever the case was. And we were already there for a couple months, so he definitely cut some money off. But it was a way like out of the lease, and also a way to like find a new place with Kyle and to like open up how much space, because we needed more space.
Yes.
And
because he was in the living room for like, I don't know if you forget about that, but like,
no, yeah, I'm there for you. I remember that.
Like he was in the living room for what was that, like 2 weeks?
Yeah, definitely less
Which
than a month.
I know,
Less
which
than a month.
which is
Just-
crazy
yeah.
when you really, really think about like.
Yeah,
It's
what was
just
done, dude.
mind-boggling.
It is crazy. But we got it done. I mean, actually, he did have to pull some strings too to kind of like
He did.
get the like approved for the house that we moved into, and maybe put the cap on this one soon. But I would like to say, feel free to add whatever. What's an interesting thing is y'all never talked to Ted. I met this guy in person when I had to go drop off the keys. And
That's true.
And it was interesting. So we find a new place to move into. We actually ended up Airbnb-ing in some random place for a day.
2
days.
It was like
2 days before moving.
Yeah.
And dude, I have to go drop off the keys so this guy can hand me this check because we're like, you know what, we're gonna break the lease to move into this new one.
Mm-hmm.
And I go up and I meet this guy and it's just this, bro, just your basic ass little basic dude. And I'm giving him the keys and he seemed like all shocked. He's like looking around. He's like, okay, yeah. So
like he couldn't look at you.
It all now he looked at me, but I'm saying he was checking out the apartment.
Oh.
To see if probably thinking we messed
Fucked
it up
yeah.
and stuff like that. He's like, okay, yeah, it all looks good. All looks pretty good. And that's another funny thing too, man, because I just think just like in anything, people are so much different over text and over like that. And then when you're face to face with somebody in person, you kind of can't really be
big man.
And I was just like, yeah, man,
keyboard warrior.
We're not assholes. We just we just need a place to live.
Exactly.
And then I just gave him the keys. He handed me the check, and that was it, man. I never talked to that dude again.
Wild.
Very just such a weird thing.
It is a shame I never had the pleasure of meeting Theodore Wong.
Man, check that out.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
And then we were off into our new place, man.
And that's a whole journey within itself.
Facts. Yes. Any memories from the apartment before Kyle got there?
Definitely.
That we haven't talked about.
Yeah. Dude, kind of weird stuff, but like when we would I remember there was one night where we made burgers and onion rings.
Yeah.
And you
took pictures of that on my phone. I got it.
That was pretty fire.
We made some we made onion rings. That was a good call.
You made onion rings. You made the batter and everything.
Yeah.
That was actually really cool.
That's legit.
And then but dude, I just remember at least for me as a memory, the first 2 weeks were very lonely because I you would go to work and I had no way out of the house other than either a bus or Uber, but I didn't really have enough money to just willy-nilly it's
sure.
kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's weird. You're
So
just stuck.
I was I felt stuck, but I also felt free at the same time. I was like a bird who was had Stockholm syndrome to his cage. I was I'm here, but I want to get. And but no, dude, I would say I randomly lost a lot of weight during that time too, because
okay.
I was so because I started my fitness and lifting journey very seriously in December of 2020.
Yeah.
And then now at this point it's January of 2022, but that whole first year I force fed myself 3,000 calories a day because I was trying to bulk up, and then I got up to 4,000 calories.
Thousands of calories chilling in this fridge and things.
Dude, oh my God.
Time, right?
And then, dude, I was every single day I was eating and I had fucking access to all this food because mom would just tell me what I'm going to the grocery shop or whatever. Dude, I was having 6 egg omelets every single morning, with 2 scoops of protein. I was eating 8 ounces of chicken with rice, and then after the gym I'd eat a fat ass Chipotle bowl. I was and then I went from that
now you're
to
counting tortillas.
Now I have literally nothing. I was trying to figure out ways to finagle. I'd add water to eggs and stuff. I was just trying to figure out anything I could do to fucking make stuff more satiable. I ate a lot of oats at that time, a fuck ton of oatmeal and peanut butter. So I lost a lot of weight because I didn't have access to food.
Sure. There's also underlying stress too of
oh my
all
God.
that situation.
Yes.
Lose weight too. How many lean bodies do you think you took from 24?
Yeah, we might have to cut the video. Oh, Yeah, we don't need to talk about
Is that a federal offense at that point?
Uh,
Dollar wise, maybe.
I think we might be.
We're in California. You're good though.
We
dude.
might be
It happened when you could steal. You're fine.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Yeah,
but at the time you could
yeah,
steal.
I was stealing when it wasn't against the law,
Yeah, you're
actually,
good,
so
dude.
I was good.
Petty theft or whatever.
Yeah,
Petty
whatever that is. But yeah, there was definitely a couple of tubs of pre-workout that may have went missing. You just, things just need to get done, man. You know.
Say.
And I'll say this, dude. I don't have a single regret. In terms of how all of that went, I think I have a few that we're gonna bring up in this next episode.
Sure.
But in terms of like, other favorite memories, I would say like just learning to be okay being alone, which I already was, but it was weird when like there's a difference between having a bunch of friends and loved ones and family around you and like wanting to be alone versus like I am literally alone. Like there's not a single person in a fucking like 1,000-mile radius that knows me.
Yeah.
And
kind of freeing though. Like
yes,
you said.
very.
That's what's cool, and
super
that's what
freeing.
I've appreciated about living on my own.
100%. And I will say, like, it gives you it's nice to be able to talk to someone who doesn't have a bunch of preconceived notions about you, like talking to someone like who like they haven't known you your whole life.
Yeah.
And like there's like something cool about that in the sense of like you get to like almost organically start over, not by changing who you are, but like you get to maybe create a better representation for yourself.
Dude, you go from being this person in this tiny little community to like someone who doesn't know you, and there's the whole. It just seems like the world literally opens.
Yeah,
which is
100%.
Great, which is great, man.
So yeah, I would say that those are my favorite memories. Just like kind of discovering myself, and also like all of the shit that we had to do to just figure out how we were gonna eat and drink that day. Like just like. That shit built me, and it made me really appreciate, and it told myself when I do get into a really good position, I'm gonna look fondly and back on those days with a lot of happy thoughts.
Here we are, man.
Here we are,
well, dude. Great talking to you again, man. Back
always,
in the lab, dude.
Always a pleasure.
There'll be more to come as always, and we'll get into the next iteration of living in San Jose, probably in this next one here, but. Thanks for hanging out for the second episode of Lawless Brothers Radio.
100%. My name is Casey Lawless.
I'm Ryan. Catch y'all later.
Peace.